All right. Welcome to Fabled Hunters.
What Fabled Hunters? Saint!
What?
Oh my god. These
Yep.
slabs that you asked me to invest in? Like,
I didn't ask you to invest. You said you wanted slabs.
Oh my god.
No. You said you wanted the slabs, Ada.
So what happened?
Well, what happened? Well, the market happened.
And now what do we do?
Now what do we do? I don't know. Just hold on to them. You said you...
Enjoy the...
Yeah, enjoy the slabs for what they are. One of them still the... Hold on. One of them still the Arcanine Skullcap. This is still the most playable card in Arcane Rising. There's only 800 of these, and one of them is a $5 Spring Tunic.
I should have bought a Birkin bag with those money, you know?
Well, no, you should have bought these to show your support of LSS and their awesome product from the first and second editions.
He's right.
All right. Welcome to Fabled Hunters.
I'm Yanji,
I'm Saint.
and we're gonna open some stuff.
We're gonna open up a can of worms.
Oh no.
Well, I know that I've rarely made too many videos about the market, and I don't know if anybody's really come out and say it, but well, the market's not amazing right now. But not only that, it's the end of the year. People are just feeling anxious about Flesh and Blood, feeling anxious about the economy, feeling anxious about collectibles, feeling anxious about almost everything, because that's just what happens at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And even last weekend, I got contacted by over 20 people trying to liquidate their collections to me, and I don't have the bandwidth. And I just wanted to say, like, hey, this is probably the worst time to liquidate. I mean, right now it just feels like that point of the horror movie where the animals are running out and like, it's the calm before the storm and the water line's receding and is there going to be a tsunami or something?
Does this mean that you have less confidence in Flesh and Blood, or what's going on?
I personally don't have less confidence in Flesh and Blood, and just to be completely honest to the viewers, most of my goods were purchased when I purchased them. I made a huge transaction with Channel Fireball, and that was how I, got into the game, because I believed in the game when Welcome to Wraith boxes were $600 to $800 a piece, because I liked it then. I liked it a lot less, and I'll be honest with the viewers too, that when the Welcome to Wraith boxes became $6,000 to $8,000, I bought 0 of them. When they dropped down to about $3,000 to $3,250, I picked up a couple, and now for reasons beyond, what reasons beyond me, some of those boxes are being listed at $4,500 to $5,000, which is like, okay, it's, people are attempting to go for their reach goals, but I'm not buying any. And I spoke to a lot of my friends who also happen to be very sizable TCG collectors, and they're not buying any either. So I don't understand why there's like this detachment between actual buyers and sellers.
I think it's always hard because you're dealing with a good that in general there's just like not a ton of volume.
Yep.
Just like play devil's advocate, I think if you are somebody who maybe also like yourself got into Flesh and Blood kind of early on,
Yeah.
and then you see the people like making the sales at like $70,000 during the peak for like a WTR sealed box. What do you think is like the best? What do you think is like the way that somebody should go about or they're trying to like sell something that they have?
Sell something out of Flesh and Blood?
If you were like a seller like right now.
I mean, if they were a seller right now, a lot of people are just trying to sell for whatever market is since July and August, which is basically, let's call it the peak minus 40%.
Yeah.
I would honestly say that a lot more pricing discovery, unfortunately, a lot more pricing discovery needs to happen, because I'm seeing like there's literally a very prominent Eye of Ophidia, which is 9 quad plus on the open market, and it started out at 12,000, then it went down to 10,000, then it went down to 9, then 8, then $6,900, and I think it still remains unsold.
Okay.
Because there's no like like there was a 50% decrease. I'm not saying to panic if you're a seller. I would suggest don't be a seller in December right after this Omega Supreme virus. And if you are a buyer, you really gotta stick it out. That's what I honestly say, because this whole look of a $12,000 card, which I never believed it was $12,000, by the way, dropping down 10, 9, 8, 6.9, that's not a good look. This pricing activity happened within, I don't know, under 2 weeks. You know the one I'm talking about. It was a big post. It's in the high-end group. It's in my graded group, and like other buddies of mine, like, do you need a heart? I don't need it. Do you need a heart? I don't need a heart. I've got a gold heart. Why do we need that heart? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying the guy needs to go to 3K and then forget about it, but my advice is when you're that, when you're stretching that much, you probably should just, end your posts and just not flood the market with what the market won't bear. I just got off an hour phone call with Rudy last night, and he's talking about a huge bear market, and he's experiencing there's 30 to 40 collections of Flesh and Blood that he could conceivably buy,
right?
But they're all ridiculously priced. People, we share that same sentiment. It's like, Rudy, you have enough Flesh and Blood, right? It's like, yeah. What about you saying? I'm like, I'm good. I don't need any more opportunities. And that's currently what the market is seeing.
Yeah.
This market, there's not very much pricing discovery, and there's a lot of stubborn sellers that are saying, let me just hit my head against the wall. And again, I talked to about, I don't know, other content creators say there's 100, maybe 50, maybe less than 50 big collectors. Mm-hmm. I talked to about 25 high-end collectors. I would say collectors that have 6 to 8 figures of Flesh and Blood on the usual. And I'm like, are you buying something? No, are you saying? If you're not buying something, I guess I shouldn't be buying anything. Are you buying anything? And it's like, oh crap, nobody's buying anything right now because there's no deals on the market. People are still being unrealistic. I mean, there's people selling Magic the Gathering Alpha at like 20 or 25% of a discount, but that's just like saying Apple stock is selling at 25%.
Yeah.
Like Flesh and Blood, as much as I love the product, it's not at the level of Magic the Gathering Alpha, because Magic the Gathering Alpha has 20 years of experience, whereas WTR Alpha has 2 years of experience.
I think it's a good time to step back and think about where Flesh and Blood is right now as a game, and where it has to still develop. Okay. I think part of the reason I agree with what you said about Magic the Gathering Alpha, but I think what a lot of people, maybe if they just got into Flesh and Blood as their first TCG, that they really put money into, Magic the Gathering has also gone through a lot of ups and downs.
So many phases. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that this is one of those things where, that's why I asked you at the very beginning, do you have less faith in Flesh and Blood right now as a game? Because I think when you're talking about what you're putting your money into, even forget buying and selling in the current time, but you have to think about what is it that you truly enjoy. I remember you in a video that we did about what to collect, you have to collect what you enjoy,
what you love.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so
yes.
I think it's the same kind of concept. When we're talking about Flesh and Blood, where it is right now, Flesh and Blood is a 2-year-old game. They've had several successful tournament scenes, but it hasn't gone through the multiple phases. Flesh and Blood is for sure gonna have a phase where everyone's oh, is Flesh and Blood dead as a game?
Yep.
And LSS is gonna have to figure it out. I fully anticipate maybe they'll make some mistakes along the way, and they'll learn from it and grow. And I think if you have belief in the people who are working on the game, if you have belief in the company that's behind it, then that's kind of what you're investing on.
Of course, I've said many times that I saw what the company was about. I saw the company's product, the workmanship, and I have full belief in James and LSS's execution. But James and LSS, they're not responsible for the secondary market. Supply and demand dynamics are responsible for the secondary market. And Yuanji, just to get back to what you said about Magic the Gathering and how WotC managed it.
Right.
I was there when Fallen Empires came out. I remember Fallen Empires being $1.45 a pack, and opening it up and oh crap, I could get double the amount of packs of Revise, which is $2.95 for Fallen Empires. I could buy 2 packs at 16 cards for $2.90 versus that's Fallen Empires versus 1 pack of Revise at like $2.95, I think. So I was like, I get 1 extra Fallen Empires card and it's a new hot set. And that turned out to be a complete dumpster fire. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Everybody was like,
there weren't
how
any
does
cards.
Yeah, how does Magic, there's like 4 playable cards,
Right.
if that. How does Magic go from Revised to Fallen Empires? This is crap. This is horrible.
Yeah.
The Dark was already bad. Fallen Empires was worse. And then they followed it up with Homelands. And then yada, yada, yada. There was even this set called Chronicles, where they reprinted all the Arabian Nights, Legends, Antiquities, and the Dark. A lot of the big cards. Yeah. And I think they saved themselves with this reserve list, right? So the reserve list of not printing these reserved cards to sustain value, maintain value within, the ecosystem of Magic the Gathering. And I mean, by the way, like great foresight, learning from other companies' mistakes, LSS is not reprinting cold foils. So that's great. That's like having the foresight to say, hey, this is our version of reserve list starting from day one.
Yeah.
But again, about that whole thing, about being there for the beginning, being there for the early years, that's where my concern is. Because look, when I started playing in '94, dual lands were $5 a piece for almost anything from Plateau to Underground Sea.
Yeah.
Later on, averaged out at $10. Maybe Plateaus were like 7 or 8, and Underground Seas were like 12 or 15. Because the color blue just was insane. It's like blue was like the Rune Blade of Magic the Gathering. Right?
Yeah, everybody wants to play.
Everybody wants to play blue. Therefore, the lands that generate blue mana were more. But yeah, it was relative to the pack prices. It was close. It was like a dual land cost like 2 to 5 packs worth of whatever's in print in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And I remember even like '97, although I didn't have $200 to my name, like a Beta Black Lotus was $200. 3 years after the release, 4 years after the release of Beta, right? And then even like 10 years ago, I think even the Beta Black Lotus could be bought for like $1,000 or $2,000. So that's. I mean, I didn't want to say this way early on. I didn't want to be like a buzzkill to the community, but that period where in January to March, April, when Hearts of Fyendal went up to like $30 or $40 or $50,000 or even more, like 9.5 hearts or 80 grand.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying no 80 grand. I'm hearing that there were data points. Yeah. I believe a lot of those data points were just red herring. There were misleading data points to help sustain,
but even still,
the bubble.
Yeah.
Right.
But there were also a lot of factors in the world that kind of that caused even like for Monarch pre-order prices to go to like $600 a box, $700 a box, whatever.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, we can agree to disagree there. I think the Monarch pre-order prices, that was, in my opinion, market manipulation by the distributors and some unethical local game stores and LGS investors, right?
I totally agree, but I'm just saying, like, for us to be in a world where there are even buyers at $600 a box for like a set that's coming out, like, it kind of tips you off to the fact that it's not normal. Well, it's not normal.
Okay.
And I think that there was a lot of liquidity at that time.
Absolutely.
So I think I wasn't around obviously for Revise, but I remember even like in fairly like recent memory, I think around like I think it was like 2016 or 2017, I forget. Like when Star City Games kind of dropped Legacy when it opens, and then you see like duels dropping. I think Underground Seas were like $200 or less or something.
Really?
At the time, yeah.
Wow.
This was like right after they announced that they were like dropping Legacy.
It's 16. But then after the Bitcoin boom, Underground Sea went up to almost $1,000 as well within 2 years.
Well, I'm just bringing this all up because I think that it's important to have perspective, and when you see stuff like Okay, like when you say, oh, I don't think right now, like I want to be buying this, like I have a Fidia for, I don't know, like $6,000, like $8,000, whatever. Does that mean that you don't think that the card is going to eventually be worth $8,000? I don't think that's
No. I think iPhone one day, as long as Fab keeps ramping up, it'll be worth more than $6,900. I just don't think it's there today.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not buying it today. And that's why I'm advising you guys. It's like, hey, if there's a lot of people out there that currently have the unlimited cards, the unlimited versions of these cards, and I keep hearing, oh, I wish one day I could get a cold foil. I wish one day I could get a cold foil.
Yeah.
I'm just real talk, letting you guys know that I'm not buying anything. Most of my buddies who, are the high-end collectors, they're not buying anything. Be patient. Just wait it out. Let's let the market find some, have its own period of price discovery. And after these sellers get off their high horses and think that they need to sell at, just a slight discount off of the May 2021 crazy, bubble Black Swan event prices.
Yeah.
Let things settle down. And I want to see people. I want to see players that, can move and transition to start collecting those first edition cards. And that's another thing. Another benefit that the community will receive once we stop this whole, Monarch to 1K, Hearts of Fyendal to $100,000. It's going to the moon. Let's let things settle down. Maybe if a heart is 6,000 or 8,000 and they're approaching that right now and getting offered them at pretty close to that price right now. If they're 6,000 or 8,000, then people that win a competition or win 2 events can trade 2 gold foils for a heart, and that can be accessible. The people that are busting their butts to grind and busting their butts to sell off their extra pieces of collection just to buy more sealed product, they can slowly transition, kind of like what I did in the cardboard factory, video, sell out what they don't need, keep the things that they care about and love, slowly accumulate a position, and then trade into maybe not a heart day one, maybe just a low-end legendary, maybe a tech plating for their Guardians, maybe Scabskin Leathers.
The Guardians are going to be upset that you can call tech playing a low-end legendary.
No, I'm saying the cheaper legendary. It's not my fault that more people like Dorinthia. She's better looking and she probably smells better. That's why her Rage Forge Bracers first edition is more expensive. And I like Dorinthia more than Katsu, but Katsu's Mask of Momentum last time I checked was more expensive than Bracers. I don't follow the market that closely, but it's still the case, right? Because Katsu's more playable. Katsu's more liked. He's more effective. He's experienced more success. That's also why I think Arknight Grasp, Grasp with the Arknight, is going up really, really quickly in Arcane.
Keep printing rune plates.
Shame on you. No, just kidding. But if they keep,
if they just keep making more rune plates.
if they print 5 more first place rune plates, then maybe Arknight Grasp will be worth more than the heart, right?
I think my takeaway as a non collector from this is acting whatever you act right now, if you're trying to sell right now, obviously you have to sell at a price that people would want to pay for, and maybe that means that if it means to you that you would rather take I don't know a 60 whatever percent discount.
Well, nobody's selling at a 60 or 70% discount.
I know, but I'm saying that's what it would take, right? This is all short term. You can only buy and sell in the market that exists today, but at the same time, then when you're deciding what it is that you want to do with your stuff, then maybe you have to have a longer time frame.
Absolutely, markets are dictated by supply and demand. Something going on out there? Wow. So
the last thing that I guess I wanted to touch on, you told me offline that you felt that buying sealed, especially when you buy the cents as they come out, kind of is a little bit different than buying these cards or slabs or whatever off the secondary market.
For sure, absolutely, yes, that completely makes sense, because yes, that's what I wanted to cover. Guys, if you like this game, if you care about it, if you want to help LSS, perpetuate this game, and you've got belief in it, right now is not the time to buy slabs or even singles or their first edition product. LSS derives the most benefit if you buy their sealed product. There's first edition product coming out in 2 months. Everfest? Yeah, Everfest comes out in 2 months or less now. I think the clock is ticking. It's early February.
Yeah, we're gonna get spoilers pretty soon in the middle of January.
Middle of January? Okay. Yeah. So that at $80 is looking like maybe not 80, but $80 to $95 range is what it looks like Everfest will be available for.
Yeah.
Essentially close to MSRP.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah. It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can pre-order for under 100 right now, right?
I believe so. I think Tales of Aria is the first set where first edition boxes, people kind of realized that first edition boxes aren't like these like to the moon.
To the moon,
like,
yes.
crazy,
Yes.
like, but they do have cold foils,
Mhm.
and so
They won't be reprinted.
Yeah.
There's only going to be one release.
Yep.
And that's why maybe not 80, maybe even 100, whatever. If you expect something to withstand the test of time,
actually,
in one day,
Everfest is gonna be great.
huh?
I personally think Everfest is gonna be really good.
I think it's going to be a great set. I would say it would be the antiquities of Flesh and Blood,
Mhm.
just like Crucible was Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
Everfest should be like the antiquities. You get these little oddities, these little pieces of gear that should supplement every single hero
Yeah.
and increase their power level just a little bit. So yeah, Antiquities was about different artifacts, different trinkets that made every Magic user a little stronger.
Yeah.
So same type of idea. And at $100 a box, like how can you go wrong? Really, if you get it for $100 a box, just let it sit there and open what you want to open, right? I mean, right now it's really simple. Do you want to own an Eye of Ophidia for $7,000, or is it better? Is there more growth in the short to medium, even the long term, if you get 100 pieces of Everfest? Now, 70 boxes
Mhm.
of Everfest. That's almost 20 cases. It's like 17 cases of Everfest. Yeah,
Right.
1768. Yeah, 17 and a half cases of Everfest. Does that make sense to you, Genji? Right? Even as a player, even as a semi collector.
Yeah,
right?
I think for me, I think what I want for the future is for Flesh and Blood, for LSS to become more successful, and for a lot more people to kind of come to enjoy the game. I mean, I personally enjoy playing the game a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So I think that if that's my goal, and to put everything into perspective, then yeah, that's where I'm going to be spending my money. I'm going to be spending my money supporting the company, helping them be able to develop more sets and to kind of like get better at their craft.
Yeah, and myself personally, I said from day one, and it's only been 1 year, right? It's been 1 year since, call it 13, 14 months since I bought my first box of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I said that this was a 5 to 20 year path, and this was only year one. We've only televised and recorded year one of that path.
Mhm.
Every piece of sealed product that I have, I don't want to move it for a minimum of 5 years. Everything that I buy, all of that Monarch, all of the Tales of Aria.
You might open it.
Huh?
You might open it.
I'm not going to sell it, but I'm going to enjoy it, right? I'm going to consume at least a part of it. Because what's the fun of buying something if you can't enjoy it?
On the late nights.
On the late nights.
When mistakes.
Yes, when mistakes can happen. Hey, at least there are those mistakes. There was that mistake that happened where it resulted in a hard to find out,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That was not that bad of a mistake. And I think it came out 9.5 as well, so it's a little win. So, yeah, guys, hope you guys liked what we had to say. We're just talking off the cuff from the heart here,
Yeah.
right? And we have a holiday party to attend. So, see you guys next time. Bye!